Emily, you are in the 11th grade. So, have you ever experienced some school bullying incidents in your life?
Yes. So, in fact, I think that I am very fortunate to not have experienced any kind of physical bullying, but I think verbal bullying is still very common. So, when I was in the sixth grade, I transferred to middle school in the United States. And because my peers' ears were oftentimes inflamed, my mother would use tea leaves to reduce the inflammation from my piercing. So some students do not understand Chinese medicine or Chinese culture, so they would be pointing fingers and talking behind my back. And after learning about this, I told my parents about it. They also understood my situation and tried to help me find a solution immediately. At the end, with our joint efforts, I did not choose to remain silent, but instead I stood up and verbally fought back to the people who bullied me, and finally solved the problem. I understand that
Oh,
I understand that many other students weren't as fortunate and weren't able to stand up to all kinds of bullying. So I felt fortunate to be able to do that. And I want to help others and encourage them to do so themselves.
yeah, right. You did a very great job for telling your parents in time and resolving the problems bravely. I can tell the experience did have a great impact on you. That's why you want to help others to get out of those kind of incidents. You are so lucky for transforming those negative impacts into a positive one. But not everyone get that luck. In fact, school bullying hurts the victims greatly. Physical scars may be healed one day, but psychological traumas may accompany the victim for a lifetime. Some adults still burst into tears when recalling their unbearable childhood or adolescent bullying experience. Children who are bullied are around twice as likely to feel lonely, to be unable to sleep at night, and to have contemplated suicide as those who are not being bullied. Bullying is also associated with high rates of smoking, drug, and alcohol abuse. UNESCO also finds that children who are frequently bullied are more than twice as likely to miss school or leave formal education after finishing secondary school as those who are not frequently being bullied. Children who are bullied are worse in educational outcomes than children who are not being bullied. The more often they are being bullied, the worse their educational outcomes in general. Also, children who are frequently bullied are more likely to become another bully. Hence, school bullying is devastating and shall be taken good care of.
From the discussion we had just now, we can see that bullying is not only very common, but it can also cause serious harm to the victims. So it seems that the problem of bullying needs to be solved immediately. So, Mr. Feng, in your opinion, what are some main causes for bullying in schools?
In my opinion, there are some external factors and there are some internal factors. As for the external factors, children who are perceived to be different in any way are more at risk of being bullied. UNESCO shows that physical appearance is the most common cause of bullying. Other external causes include race, nationality, skin color, etc. Children from poor or immigrant families are more at risk of being bullied. In addition, students whose sexual orientation is not conforming to gender norms, including those who are or perceived to be lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, and those who do not conform to stereotypes of masculinity or femininity, are relatively more likely to experience school violence and bullying. As for the internal factors, there are about four main factors. The first one is adolescent mental factors. Adolescents are in a critical period of psychological changes. Although they are close to adults in appearance, their views on things are not comprehensive, and their methods to dealing with social problems are immature. Therefore, they are prone to be irritable in emotions and hold extreme views. When they are involved in conflicts with others, they tend to be offensive. For example, when adolescents disagree on their favorite idols or football teams, they may argue or even fight intensively, like protectors of truth. The second factor is native family factors. Children often feel confused when reaching puberty. They need adults to guide and help them, especially they need family supports. If the family is not harmonious or the parents don't care about them, the children will often feel insecure or become emotionally unstable. Because children are good at copying their adults' behaviors, if they are unfortunately being victims of domestic violences, they are, on one hand, very likely to imitate the perpetrators of domestic violence and become the perpetrators in school bullying incidents, gaining some short-term inner comforts by bullying classmates who are weaker than themselves. Or on the other hand, those victims of domestic violences may be affected by the victims of those domestic violence, like their parents, and form a personality of cowardice and low self-esteem, becoming targets of school bullying. So, in conclusion, an harmonious family is the root of frequent school bullying incidents. Some schools may pay insufficient attention on physical and mental health of students and unable to detect bullying incidents in time. At the same time, when school bullying incidents occur, some schools may not handle the incidents timely, nor treatments are not strong enough to intimidate the perpetrators, leading the occurrence of bullying incidents. As for the social factors, with the development of social economy, the vigorous development of social culture enriches people's spiritual life. But on the other hand, the social culture also entails cultural draws, which negatively affects and harms the growth of adolescence. To begin with, the commercialization of cultural products leads cultural works supposed to promote truth, goodness, and beauty to blindly catering consumers' vulgar demands. Commercial blockbusters full of violence, blood, and visual effects are dominating the market, whereas classic films with educational significance and cultural depth are marginalized because of the low rate of return. Young people cannot form aesthetic tastes if they have no access to excellent cultural products. No wonder why some of them may feel fists equivalent to chic and think violence can crush everything. Moreover, with the progressing network information technologies, young people may obtain information via mass media represented by electronic media. However, good and bad information resources are mingled within the reach. Negative information resources containing crime, pornography, violence, etc. abound. The cost for young people to form bad online groups and learn wrong methods to hurt others is extremely low. Hence, their outlook on life, morals, and values are extremely vulnerable to vulgar and evil information. Thirdly, the byproducts of multiculturalism are also accompanied by new cultural trends, all of which erode the physical and mental health of young people and subtly change their way of life. The protagonists in idol dramas represent the lust for money and consumerism, tempting immature teenagers to yearn for a life that does not match their family backgrounds and ages, and bullying weak people for money. In the era where everyone has a mobile phone, combating mobile phone games are weaving another fantasy of inspiring life for young people. Through constant combats, a newcomer may one day step to the top of the world